Welcome student, I am Professor Sunil Chinde. In this sessions we are going to discuss the unit number 6 and today's topic is the fundamental of JSP. Okay, so as you know that any website or web applications can be designed with the help of HTML page. Okay, but with the help of HTML page we can just design the static web page, and with that static web page we can design only static websites or the applications. If you want to design the dynamic web page, that times you have to use the server side scripting language, just like PHP, ASP. Okay, so similarly we can use JSP also to create a dynamic web page. But in this syllabus, that is that we are discussing in client server computing, we had already discussed these servlets. Okay, the servlet is the Java program that is executed on the server sides. Okay, whenever the client send any request for the particular services, the servlets, okay, accept the request, process the request and send the process request back to the clients. Okay, means dynamic web page can be generated by using the servlets. But servlets have some disadvantages, some limitations. To overcome that disadvantage, JSP can be used. Okay, so JSP is the Java server pages or the technology. JSP is the advanced server technology that provide more functionality than the servlets. What is JSP? JSP is the servlet technology, but it provides more functionality than the servlets. Okay, means JSP also get a request from the client. Okay, process that request and send back the process result back to the clients. Means with the help of JSP we can create a dynamic web page. Okay, so this is the advantage of JSP, and you can easily embedded JSP code in a HTML web page. Okay, or the HTML web page. Okay, let's see what are the different topics that we have to discuss in this sessions. Okay, let's see these topics are fundamental JSP fundamentals, then the scripting elements, JSP implicit objects and the JSP directive. These are the topics that we have to discuss in today's sessions. Okay, let's see the fundamentals of JSP. I already told you JSP is nothing but a Java server page. Okay, Java server page. These Java server pages are HTML pages. Okay, are the Java server pages are the HTML pages embedded with the Java codes. Okay, actually is the HTML web page in which the Java codes are the embedded in that HTML page. There are four different elements. Okay, there are four different elements are used in constructing or to design the JSP page. Okay, so these four different elements are scripting elements, implicit objects, directives and the actions. Okay, so what is Java server pages? The just Java server pages are the HTML pages embedded with the Java code with the four different elements such as the scripting elements, implicit objects, directories and the actions. Okay, now we have to see the overall architecture, how JSP page execute. Okay, so the JSP page runs into two phases. Actually JSP page runs into two phase. First translation phase and second is the execution phase. Okay, through these two phases the actual JSP page runs. The first phase is the translation phase. In translation phase, the JSP page is translated or the compiled, okay, into the servlets. Okay, in translation phase, actually JSP page is compiled into the servlets, and in the execution phase, the compiled JSP is processed. Okay, means actually servlet is processed, okay, to generate the response. Okay, to understand in details, we can see or we can understand by using these flow charts. Okay, here whenever any request is obtained for the JSP, okay, through the JSP containers, okay, the JSP containers will find the request have been already is there or the request is for the new. If the request for the new JSP servlet, then the JSP page is translated into the servlet. Okay, that means JSP page is compiled and translated into the JSP servlets, load into the memory, then it will generate the response and send back to the clients if the request is for the new JSP page. If the request is for the page which is already loaded in a memory, that times the response will be created and sent back to the clients. Okay, so this is the overall architecture how the Java server pages executed or how JSP page executes or the runs. Means JSP runs into two phases. The first is the translation phase and second is the execution phase. In translation phase, the JSP page is translated or the JSP page is compiled into the servlets, and then after that compiled JSP page is processed for generating the response. Okay, now we have to see the different elements that we can use in JSP, that is called as scripting elements. Okay, there are three types of scripting elements. Okay, that is called the declarations, scriptlets and the expressions. Okay, these are the three different kinds of scripting elements. First one is the declarations, scripting and the expressions. Let's see the declarations. Okay, declarations are used to define the methods and the instance of variables. Means these declarations elements are used to define any methods or the instance variables. So here you can see the examples. Okay, how we can define or the declare the variables and the methods. Okay, it is declared with the opening tags, that is the pointed bracket, okay, percent sign and the exclamation marks, and ended with the percent and the pointed brackets. Okay, under in that we have to write all definitions or the functions or the declarations. Okay, that is called the declarations elements. Okay, declarations are used to define the methods or the instance variables. Okay, next is the scriptlets. Okay, scriptlets used to embedded Java code in a JSP page. Means scriptlets are used to embedded Java code. Okay, for that purpose we have to use these tags. Okay, or the syntax, that is the, you can find here in the openings, then the percent sign, okay, and last percent and the closing tags. Under that that you have to write all Java codes. So that is called the scriptlets. Means if you want to embed Java code in a JSP page, that times you have to use this syntax. Okay. Here you can find here there are two declarations, that is called as a variable, that is the x and y variable of integer types. Then after there is a expression, that is the sum of x and y, that will assign to the variable z. Means if you want to embed any Java code in JSP page, that times you have to use this syntax, that is called the scriptlets. Okay. Code should comply with the syntactical and the semantic construct of Java. Means you have to obey the syntactical rules and the semantic rules of Java. Okay, during the writing the JSP code. Okay. Then the expressions. Okay, next element, that is the expressions. Expressions used to write dynamic content back to the browsers. Okay, means if you want to give the output of any expressions, okay, give the output of any expression back to the browser, that times we can use this expressions element. Okay, if the output of expression is a Java primitive, the value is printed back to the browsers. Okay, if the output is an object, then the result of calling to the strings, means whenever the result want to back to the browser, send back to the browser, that time that result is converted into the strings. Okay, into the string for the displaying purpose on the browser. For that purpose, you have to use the syntax, that is called as the pointed opening brackets, then the percent, equal sign, and then the content. And last, you have to close with the percent and the pointed brackets. Means if you want to use the expressions element in your JSP page, that times you have to follow this syntax. Okay. Then the implicit objects. Okay, implicit objects. The implicit objects are implicit objects provide access to the server side objects. Okay, such as request, response, and the sessions. Okay, there are four types of codes. There are four types of scope of that object. Okay, every object means implicit object have the four different scopes, such as page scope, request scope, session scope, and the application scope. Okay, the page scope defines object can only be accessed in a page where they are refers. Means with the page scope, object can only be accessed within that page. Okay, then the request, with the request scope, the object can be accessed within all pages that the serve the current request. Okay, means the object in with the request scope, object can be accessed within all pages that they serve current request. Next, sessions object. Sessions object can be accessed within the JSP page for with the object that are defined, and the applications object can be accessed by all JSP pages in a given context. Okay, so these are the four scope of the objects, that is the implicit object, that is the page, request, sessions, and the applications. Okay, now we have to see the list of implicit objects, that is the request object, response object, sessions object, applications object, page, context object, sessions, config, out, page, okay, exceptions. These are the list of objects. These are the list of implicit objects that we have to use, that is the request. What is by request object? Request object reference to the current request. Response object response to the request. Sessions associated with the current request. Application servlet context which page belongs. Okay, so these are the objects, these are the implicit objects. Then the page content object, the page context object to access the request and the response. Okay, sessions and the applications associated with the pages. Okay, applications objects, okay, are the servlet context to which a page belongs to the. Then the config objects are the servlet configurations, okay, servlet configurations to the response output stream. So these are the servlet, these are the list or implicit objects. Okay, now we have to discuss the important topic is the directives. Okay, directive tells the JSP engine or the container, okay, what to do with this JSP page. Okay, means directives tells to the container what to do with the JSP, means message sent to the JSP containers. Directive send the message to the JSP containers. These directives are used to import tag libraries, import required classes, set output to the buffering operations, or include content from the external files. Okay, so these are the some use of this directive. What is my directive? Directive tells the JSP containers what to do with this JSP page, and these directives are useful for importing the tag libraries, import the request classes or the required classes, set output of buffering options, then include content from the external files. So these are some use of directives. There are three types of the JSP specification define three directives, that is the page directives, include directives, and the tag library (lib). Okay, so these are the three different directives. The page directive provide the information about page such as scripting language, okay, that is used, content types, or the buffer size. Okay, means MIMEs. Okay, page directive provide the information about the page. तो कौन से टाइप की information provide करता है, such as what type of scripting language that you are going to use, उसके कंटेंट क्या रहेंगे और उसके बफर साइज क्या रहेंगे, that will provided by the page. Include directive used to include the content of external files. Suppose आप कोई वेब एप्लीकेशन डिजाइन कर रहे हैं, वेबसाइट डिजाइन कर रहे हैं, और पूरे वेबसाइट के अंदर उसका जो भी हेडर पार्ट है, हर एक वेबसाइट का हेडर एंड फुटर सिमिलर रहना चाहिए फॉर दी ऑल पेजेस. ओके, सिमिलर रहना चाहिए ऑल पेजेस. दैट टाइम्स हम जो हेडर और फुटर के लिए जो भी हमने फाइल्स बनाई हैं, वो फाइल्स हम इंक्लूड डायरेक्टरी के हेल्प यूज से हम उस JSP के साथ ऐड कर सकते हैं. मींस इंक्लूड डायरेक्टरी यूज टू इंक्लूड द कंटेंट ऑफ एक्सटर्नल फाइल्स. मींस इससे क्या होगा कि हमें सिमिलर टाइप का आउटपुट मिलेगा. ओके, जिसके अंदर हेडर और फुटर सिमिलर रहेगा फॉर द ऑल पेजेस. मींस इंक्लूड डायरेक्टरी आर यूज्ड टू इंक्लूड द कंटेंट, ओके, फ्रॉम द एक्सटर्नल फाइल. एंड नेक्स्ट इज द टैग library, that is used to import custom action defined in the tag library. Means if you want to create the custom tags, that times you can use the tag library directive. So directives is nothing but tells to the JSP containers what to do with this JSP page. Okay, are used directive are used to import tag libraries, different classes, input different classes, and set output bufferings or include some external files. And the directives are such as page directives, include directives, and tag library. Now we have to discuss these directive details one by one. Okay, just see the page directives. Okay, the page directive set the page property used during the translations. Okay, means page directive set the page properties. Page directive set the page property during the translations. Okay, means आप इसके अंदर कौन सी प्रॉपर्टी आप सेट कर सकते हो, तो व्हाट टाइप ऑफ लैंग्वेजेस, ओके, देन द एक्सटेंड, इंपोर्ट, सेशंस, these are the different directories, okay, that can be used with this page directive. JSP page can have any number of directories, okay, any number of directive. Import directives can only occur once, okay, within the page import directory can occur only once. Embedded in the syntax, opening tags, then percent at the rate, and then write the syntax and percent side and closing tags. So this is the page directives. Okay, different directives are, I already told you in first slides, that are the language directive, then the extended, import, sessions. The language property defines the server-side scripting language. Here in JSP we will use the Java. Then the extends declares the classes, okay, which are servlet compiled from the JSP needs to be extended. Then the import declare the packages, okay, import declare the packages and classes that need to be import for using the Java codes. Means if you want to import some packages or the classes in your JSP, that types we use the import. Then the sessions by default true रहता है, okay. Then the buffer that define the size, define buffer size of a JSP in a KB, that is called the kilobytes. Okay, next is the auto flush. Okay, auto flush property. When true, the buffer is flushed when maximum buffer size is reached. Whenever the maximum buffer size is reached, that times it flush. Okay, by default true rating. Okay, then the info, then the error page directive, that is the error page defines the relative URL of a web source to which the response should be forward in case of exceptions. Okay, if there is some exceptions occur in a page, that times where the response should go by using the error page, it can be defined. Content types, what type of content should be there, okay, in a page, that can be defined by the content type is error page. These are the some properties or the directives that can be used in the page directives. Okay, next is this is the example. This is the example how we can use the page directive. Here the language Java, buffer size is the 10 KB, auto flush true, then the error page. Okay, where to go. Okay, then the import means कौन से packages or class आपको import करना है, that can be all defined in this page directives. Okay. Next is the include directives. Okay, so I already told you, if you want to add external file in your JSP page, that times we can use the include directives. Okay, so I already told you, suppose in your web applications or website, if you want to use similar headers and footers in all pages. That tells that pages can be embedded or they can be added by using this include directory in your JSP pages. That is called the include directories. Okay, so this is all about the JSP. Okay, and